20 laps, 53 miles ahead of us. The last full wet race we had was Le Mans in 2020. You remember that? Danilo Petrucci, he'd absolutely love this one, wouldn't he? Especially with all the dirt actually out there, having done the Dakar in this wind.
Who do you think? And I've started putting quite a long time. There's a few rookies out.
Those ones. I'm going for Enea Sebastianini.
Like, your attention to detail on these opening laps are critical.
I'm worried about the spray because it's still raining out there. What are you thinking? What? From the third row, he's in 8th, but he's run very, very wide in turn 1. So it is Quartararo leading from Oliveira. And one of the prams, Jack Miller, he's going to love these conditions. Of course, he's won in the wet previously.
Yeah, Zarco's coming through, Gav, but he got a terrible start off the line. He just went backward, but since then, see everything so clearly. So Quartararo's in such a good place right now.
Yeah, and don't forget, he finished on the podium at home in Le Mans when we had a flag-to-flag race last year, and he came to Miller in 3rd. Alex Rins is in 4th place. Then it's Johan Zarco from Jorge Martin, with Frankie Morbidelli making a decent start. Joan Mir is already
up times inside 10 seconds of a dry lap time. So. And I'm sure the riders will be well aware of that, because if you can tell already how fast they're going.
And look at this, and look at that straight away. Fabio Quartararo wasn't too happy there, but Miller just breezed past Fabio. You get the spray effect, that's another thing, but if you're out front, you haven't got that issue.
No, absolutely. And Jack Miller, we know how experienced in these.
He's going to go and lead.
Straight away.
Past Miguel Oliveira. He takes charge of this race, and as you said, grip levels are good here in the wet conditions.
That's easier said than done. Absolutely. On the opening laps. Don't get me wrong, you can wait for the race to come to you, but if someone risks a lot like somebody like Jack Miller's prepared to do, he will be long gone. So in the Superbike race, it's
on the circuit. He's doing a 141.9 to Miguel Oliveira's 142.8. The other riders in the 42s, Rins at 42.5 and Joan Mir at 42.4.
Top guys, and he's obviously riding tight. He's waiting for the race to come to him, but when you're 4 seconds a lap off the pace, well, look at,
he's already 10 seconds behind. Already.
Exactly. By the time you're 5 laps in, your race is done.
Everyone self, a double Moto2 world champion who always has gone well in the wet conditions. Further back, there's Morbidelli, there is Jorge Martin, who I'm actually surprised. Problem in the wet at certain points over the last couple of years. You can see him getting out on the paint on the outside, and his rear lit up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened there.
By 0.3 of a second.
Just looking further down the field, you mentioned Darren Binder before the start of the race. He's worked his way up to 18th place. He's now directly behind the championship lead. Already his teammate is signed up. Bagnaya's got a contract for the next 2 years, and we know a lot of people are after that seat, aren't they? Whoa! That's what happens when you hit a curb.
And that's it. That's been reduced from 27 laps down to 20. So a 3/4 race distance here will be 15 laps down. Well, Jack says, go on then, Miguel, you have a go at the front. He's obviously been able to watch him.
His ride's potentially in danger, because you look at his teammate, he's got a 2-year contract. Miguel Oliveira's out of contract at the end of this year, and he wants to secure action.
But at the front, and that was the moment. Oof. That was the moment.
Horrible.
For Pecco.
He was so lucky there. Looked like he
lots of success over the last couple of years. You'd imagine they want to keep him, but they've got such a stable of talent, haven't they? Maybe he would like to go elsewhere. Maybe he feels he'd be better suited. We always thought that
throughout the weekend, but in the race, crashed out of a lonely 8th place, really. And he's been, what a time to try and take a win.
It's a fantastic point in the season, isn't it, to get one in the back pocket early on and say, hello, look, I'm capable. It's going to be a disaster in the dry. I suppose 11th place, maybe that's more than he might have hoped for in the dry conditions, because Honda, well, Pol Espargaro in particular, has been furious
for him there. You saw it spin up, even in a straight line. Keep off those curbs. There's one thing we know about this track. Everything is new here, everything is fresh, including...
Surprised that Dovi, actually, although we do know the Yamaha can be a tricky beast, he had some...
It's hard to tell, but I don't think he'd been down the road, so yeah, it looks like...
Out of the second race of the championship, so 2 DNFs to stop.
To the front, let's watch this, cuts across on the brakes.
Oh, it's the puddle.
Washers out, I tell you, that was... there's not a lot you can do. The only issue, he's got a little bit of lean angle here as he goes over that wet patch.
Off for him in these risky conditions. There's Rins in third place, also became a father last year. It was quite as a baby boom, wasn't there, in the MotoGP paddock. Let's just stick with what we've got and learn with it and build from there.
Yeah, and quite interestingly, he also said about let the test team do the testing. The race teams for racing. Let's work on your race. He's at 1:31. So to be like, what's that, 9 seconds off is incredible.
I mean, we talk about 10%, don't we? So it's a 90-second lap in. Rins has followed him with a 39.7, Zarco a 39.9. It's Miller, the one who's just dropping back in terms of pace, a 40.2 from the Aussie. Yeah. On race, do you remember when Danilo Petrucci won it in 2020? It was in the cold Le Mans. Alex Marquez stuck it on the podium, didn't he? And looked fantastic. But this new Honda...
Massive crashes for Marc Marquez and a huge one this morning, as big as you'll ever see, to be honest. So it was the right decision for him not to race, I'm sure, like you said, with a bit of concussion. I mean,
I want to ask about conditions. We're halfway through the race now. We've got a good look at how it is out there. We've seen Martin crash with that one, the little weeper across the track. Is it?
Then Miguel Oliveira, and there's 9.5 laps to go. If he wants to win his first ever MotoGP, he has to go now. He has to risk more now.
He needs half a second a lap, basically, because with 9 to go, and he's got 4.5 seconds. Needs point past Rins. He's going to start motoring. Fabio Quartararo's not been dropped either, you know, Neil. He's just on a 39. It's Quartararo, Zarco, and Oliveira are the ones on the pace. A second quicker than Jack Miller on that last lap. Crucially though, Neil, slower than Miguel Oliveira. He did, however, have to get off the line, get off the yellow in second, then Johan Zarco closing rapidly on him, bringing with him Rins and Quartararo. What do you reckon here? If you're in a rhythm in this kind of race, it's not hard, is it, when today he is, and he's closing in now on Rins. Remember him getting absolutely blasted by Rins down at turn 1 a couple of laps ago, well, about 7 or 8 laps ago. Well, he's almost got to commit to it from a long way back, and if he had done, I think that was a case of it's a factory Ducati colleague who I'm about to go past. I don't want to clatter him into the side of him and take us as we come round turn 16.
What we're seeing now
behind his brother.
This will be interesting.
I wonder how he reacts to this. We've got brothers, lots of brothers, of course, in the class. Pol Espargaro doesn't like battling Aleix, but Aleix loves it. The Marquez brothers, well, Marc's always had the upper hand.
Hey.
Personal best lap for Fabio Quartararo, fastest man on the circuit by 0.7 of a second, quicker than Oliveira and Miller, half a second quicker than Johan Zarco, who's in third. Everything, the infrastructure around it, and hopefully the ticket prices will be a bit lower so we can see all these hillsides full of people, because this is a MotoGP mad country. And here comes Zarco now, Neil.
And I tell you what, Miller's taking some risk. He was out on the curbs, was
going to go again, and no, he's not going to get through. Miller is a hard man to pass. One of the things is they're on the same boat on his countryman, and the world champion is now through and up into the podium positions. This is a brilliant ride by Quartararo. We talk about letting the race come to you. He knows a DNF is not great for the championship, so he steadily got on with his business, knowing something like a top 5 will be good. But Zarco's not taking it lying down. We've got the French riders battling at the front in MotoGP again. Oh, that guy's going to join him on the podium. As it stands, it's Fabio Quartararo who's going to go up into second place as Miller got the drive down to turn 13. Not on this occasion. Zarco trying to see if a hole is being opened for him to go through.
The rider in front, preventing him from turning in. It's a masterclass.
Jack Miller thought there might have been a chance of getting the Ducati power. Long straight. We go to one next in Argentina. We go to one in Austin, where we might have issues. But he might have picked up an important 20 points. There's a cracking battle going on. Had the door open for him, and Miller is outside the podium positions, having been leading the race. He's just...
While your championship leader, so he's up to 14th place, and the championship favourite, Pecco Bagnaia, crashed last time out. If you remember, he's clearly prepared to risk a lot.
He means business. He means business. It's down to 3 seconds. He's taken 3/10 out through sector 2. Fabio Quartararo.
Bastianini, the championship leader, down in 11th place. Marc Marquez, he's not even racing. 20 points a second.
You know what Zarco's pace is. You've followed him for a while in this race. Just stick to that. At 1:38.9, Oliveira's upped his pace in the end. But just a moment like that could cost you. Bastianini's got into this race.
Yeah, it's taken him the whole race, but I tell you what, he's
fantastic for that new with you RNF racing team. You'd have thought it'd have been Dovi on a day like this. Oh, as Bastianini fires it through
Pass him.
That's
that
the
easy.
That's the law of the jungle that he's grown up with, isn't it? Definitely, it's been like that ever since he was a kid. Here comes
3-1.
Aleix. Aleix is going to come through on the inside of Basti. Non-stop action. Oliveira out front in a league of his own. He should be able to bring it round. Yet he's ridden through the field. He's risking even on this last lap. They just pulled the bike back round through 12. Here we go then for Miguel.
Yeah, stunning. I mean, it's a typical Oliveira ride if he gets that.
But first of the season for the Austrian manufacturer, it's victory for Miguel Oliveira in Indonesia in horrible conditions. Fabio Quartararo and Zarco is third, with Jack Miller off the podium cruelly in fourth. The Suzuki's pick up good points in fifth and sixth place. Then it's going to be Frankie Morbidelli. It is going to be from Aleix Espargaro. Pol Espargaro back in 12th. It's Brandt across the line from Aleix. And then it's Darren from Enea Bastianini. And Pol Espargaro brings